New at 11, disturbing details about what a Jacksonville Beach mother is said to have told detectives hours after her young son died last month. Right now, Amy Oliver is behind bars with no bond, facing charges from the night her son died, but not charged with her son's death. Here's On Your Side's Kaylee Tracy with the latest.
A mother's words about her 3-year-old son's death are chilling to read. The details are spelled out in the state's motion to revoke her bond. Amy Oliver is not charged in her son's death, but faces charges related to the night he was found unresponsive. According to Oliver's arrest report, the boy's father called 911 when he found the boy wasn't breathing. He told dispatch Oliver, quote, tried to kill the child, the report says. When Jacksonville Fire and Rescue arrived at the Jacksonville Beach home, they transported the boy to the hospital where he died. Police say Oliver barricaded herself in a bathroom. According to the motion, while she was in the bathroom, a text was sent from her phone that, quote, strongly suggested that the defendant made a premeditated decision to take the life of a person whose identity is redacted from that motion. The motion also says, according to that text, Oliver's attempt to take her own life appeared premeditated, both actions with the intentions of inflicting pain on people related to the child, but whose identities are also redacted. The motion says an email was also sent to several people from Oliver's email address explaining, quote, her justification for attempting to take her own life. JFRD forced their way into the bathroom, and police say Oliver tried to stab them with a syringe. She had self-inflicted wounds all over her body, the court documents say. The motion says Jacksonville Beach police were forced to take Oliver into custody at gunpoint. According to the motion, Oliver told a detective, quote, the child didn't suffer and that she, quote, did not want the child to go on living without her. Based on these circumstances, the judge did revoke Oliver's bond, saying she was likely to harm herself. Kaylee Tracy, First Coast News, On Your Side.